my dear friends. I'm glad to be back. We're shooting another video today, which is good. That way I can get caught up with a lot of your questions. It's just been so busy, trying to get everything straightened around. And, it's when you grow, you got a lot of things to deal with and a lot of expenses to deal with. And so we've been involved in that. It's good to be with you and spend time with you. I want to start doing some Q&A so I can catch up with you guys, because you guys are way ahead of me. This one Jennifer wanted me to address because he was emailed this to her, and this is a quad. He's a C6, C7 quad, so it's a lower end quad. And he wants to know if I've had any success with quads or paraplegics and things like this. He said, I'm a quadriplegic, C6, C7, Asia B since July 13. Oh, that's not an old injury. And the nice thing about a fresh injury is you can regenerate these guys or gals quicker. And that's just the way it is. I think there was a paraplegic on the YouTube there. He was down, I forget how long he was down. He was only down a couple of years. It only took him 6 months to get walking again. So who is this asking me this question? Sebastian. Sebastian, I want you to think about something. Regeneration. You don't have to take anybody's word for it. I have a video for a spinal cord video, and you'll see 2 spinal cord clients there. One is a C3, C4, the other C4, C5. Now, I've talked about spinal cord injuries before on this, so look up the videos on this. But there is total nerve and spinal cord regeneration. The C3, C4 was a complete spinal cord separation, down 12 years. The other was Roger Leapart. He's up on the YouTube for you to watch. He passed by breaking his diet and going. He started eating meat again. I gave you that story of his and why I had to stop helping him, because I went into bankruptcy. I was helping all these people. I was helping 2 quads at the same time, full bore, and a bunch of other people. And it was just sucking all my money out of me, and I went into bankruptcy, but we did help him. So that was good. The C3, C4, she took me 11 months. And 11 months, I could touch her anywhere. Now, when you see that video, you will see her give some leg lifts and some hands. She's slow at it because we just went there cold, but in a physical therapy sense, boy, 10 leg lifts, she could give it. Before then, like I said, you could cut off her toe and you would never feel it. Roger at 11 months had the tremendous bone regeneration from the severe scoliosis to the fractured leg that healed at a 28-degree angle. I still have all the x-rays on those. It's pretty cool stuff to see that happen, where the body pulls old fractures that have made the bones curved and pulled it all straight. So these are wild things. The problem I think with this planet is there's no regeneration through medical thinking, because they don't understand chemistry and physics. They don't understand nutrition and health. And that's factual. It's not me blowing in the end. This is factual stuff. So when you don't understand the chemistry of foods, the proper chemistry of the body, and how all this is, then you're not going to understand why foods are everything to you, and how foods destroy the body or how foods rebuild the body. But you got to get with that, because your food source is everything to you. Why do you eat in the first place? So you're either eating the wrong foods or the right foods. When it comes to nerve regeneration, I've said this many times on videos, I'm in full bore fruit. I ran, and I was telling you this on the video with about velvet antler, because I gave her velvet antler, elk velvet antler with Panax ginseng. And I tell you what, it was incredible to see the nerve regeneration from a point. There's a lot of issues with long-term quads in terms of congestion, being able to get this up and cough it up with neural, especially quads. So these are big deals when you're working on quadriplegics, especially your higher quads. With a C6, C7, my friend, and you're only down since 13, boy, this would be great. I mean, there is regeneration. Some of the quads only have tumors and things like that on the spinal column. These are even easier still. So, what seems to be impossible for some is not with others. And you have to get with that, because there is no other regeneration on this planet, Sebastian. Nerve regeneration, you have to understand regeneration of tissue and why you're not getting it just in your daily life. And first of all, when you have an accident, no matter what it is, trauma to tissue, no matter what it is. It creates an acid environment within the traumatized area. There's no question. When that's happening on top of an already acidic body, hard to heal. That's why they like to pump steroids and anti-inflammatories as much as possible, especially on spinal cord injuries, because of the need to reduce that inflammation and that swelling. That's from the trauma. But the problem is that take someone that is born with weak adrenal glands. They're already neurologically down. So when your myelin sheaths are already weak, and then you have all this trauma and stuff, then it just takes a while to repair tissue. Tissue repairs itself. I don't care where it is in the body and what kind of tissue it is. Nerve tissue is by far the state of the art in regeneration, but what it creates is a need to go back to the original diet of man, fruit and berries. Fruit and berries are the key to spinal and nerve regeneration. I've said this before, and I said this with MS. We've showed you some cases there. We have never failed with MS. So I'd say this to see you, Sebastian. Get out there, see if you can get a hold of this paraplegic online. We have a spinal cord tape. See what you can get with that. I'll say this. Don't get too intellectual about it. Get going on it. Get yourself, go into the herbal programs, use your upper circuit brain and nerve. You always want to do that. Brain and nerve number 2, you want to go after the kidneys and adrenals. You want to bring hydration to the body and stay on a high fruit diet. Work yourself up to it, all fruits and berries and melons. And live on that. I don't know, I'd have to see your eyes to see what kind of condition your body is in, because this makes a big difference between quads or paraplegia, between any or everybody. It depends upon your state of health from the get-go. If you already have weaknesses in the body, neural weaknesses, heavy lymphatic congestion where you're already highly acidic, it's going to take you a while. And the reason people don't see nerve regeneration is because people are eating highly acidic diets. Their body's already acidic. Then they have trauma, which is acidic, and pretty soon they become one big acid. So I'll say this. You want to go for it no matter what, because many things happen when you are on a fruit diet as quads. I don't know where you're at with the ability to transfer. You're C6, C7, so it tells me that you probably have some ability with your hands. C4, C5 have very little ability, although I did have a C4, C5 in the other day that he could have. He was called a C4, C5, but he could transfer himself, and he did have mobility. So to some degree, that guy's going to walk a lot quicker, I think, than 11 months. But it's enough to say, the C3, C4, I didn't get her walking at 11 months. I just got her neurologically reconnected in 11 months. But that's a complete spinal cord separation, plated up, scarred up like nobody's business. And we had all known neural pathways. The next stage, of course, was to get her on the ground, because I had called all these medical experts around the country and all these neurological things, and they said, get her on the ground, get her walking. I was telling you that. Get her crawling to where mind-body starts connecting again, because it seems that they lose that after a while. It's enough to say. It'll keep down UTIs, it'll keep down decubituses, it'll strengthen and get all this sewage out of you, because the reason people break down sitting in chairs is acidosis again. Leading a sedentary life without a raw food diet makes the lymph system worse by the day. So there's no getting back up when you're eating a traditional highly acidic diet. Your body's already acidic, you've never fixed it, and you have trauma to it. It doesn't matter what the trauma is. On what tissues are traumatized. Healing takes place in an alkaline, predominantly alkaline environment. Why? Because acids are corrosive and dehydrating. They're the end products is the most, I mean, you got acid steroids and things like this, of course, like estrogen and testosterone and stuff, but still, they're on the minor side of acids. But that's what I would do. Get the spinal cord tape, but I would try to prove me wrong there, Sebastian. Get yourself on a raw food diet. How can it hurt? Right? But you want to leave the vegetables alone. In my opinion, you might do them at first until you get stabilized. And that brings another thing about stools. I mean, there's a whole list of problems, guys, when you have quads and paraplegics. It depends on the level, who their caregiver is, how often they get that, because you got to get daily bowel movements. That's sometimes a problem. And there's a lot of issues. And then when the lungs start to detoxify, especially your upper level quads, you got to have a suction machine, because you can get into some complications there. So it's just enough to say that cases can be complicated, but I haven't seen a case you couldn't win. I mean, there are advanced cases of cancer where the body's been chewed up by acids and chemotherapy, and There's very little you can do to get them back in time. That's why I tell people, listen to these videos, get on these programs and have fun with them. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to change your diet to a raw food diet. And if you don't realize how important a raw food diet is, realize no other animal on the planet, no other vertebrae cooks their food before they eat it. And we know what happens when we give animals cooked food. Look what happens to dogs when you feed them off the table. They get the same problems we do, don't they? Mm-hmm. So it's that whole thing. You go back to the raw diet again. And you've got to go back to raw, but when a spinal cord injury or a neurological condition, whether it's MS, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's, you want fruit and berries. You'll get faster, you'll regenerate faster, and you'll be much happier. It's just vital to get to these areas. And then fruit, of course, is going to get you up into the brain where there could be lesions and things in terms of that sort of thing. So that's for you, Sebastian. If you can do that, I'd get my butt up out of that chair. You're only a C6, C6, C7. I'd like to see how much mobility you have. Take a look at your eyes, Seb, and see what you're dealing with your body there. See if you have any precursors in those the upper areas of the C-spine. See if you have weaknesses there. See how your kidneys are, how your lymphatic system is, because that's all signs. In other words, you give me someone with strong fibers, strong constitution, somebody's lymph system isn't that bad, and you're a quad, you're going to be up and twice the time someone that has a heavy lymphatic problem and kidneys and stuff like that. Major differences in the ability and the time needed to rebuild the body. I don't know about anybody else, but we are into tissue regeneration. I suggest everyone get on board with that, or you can have your heads up your butts and still live like everybody else on this planet and get sicker by the day, more pain, unhappiness, depression, and then, that's not a good life either. So shift your diets. That's easy to do. Doesn't cost you anything. That's a big deal for a quad. And then think about the herbs for regeneration, because the herbs really get in and help you to regenerate. No question about it. I love nerve regeneration. My specialty and one of my fun things to do, because I don't like quads and paraplegics in chairs. Bad karma, but you got to fix it up and get rid of it. I had a quad in here one day, and she had flown to Las Vegas to talk to Jerry Lee Lewis. It seemed like thousands of quads in Paris flew in there one time to talk to Jerry Lee Lewis on the MD stuff. He wouldn't even meet with them. Wouldn't even meet with them. Because it's all about the money on these associations and things like that. Who cares? We're about regeneration. We're about the folk. And that's key. People will lost their way. They're amazing. Now, this is Lisa. Hi, Lisa. I know how busy you are. This question is off the cuff. I assist the guides in the activation of DNA for people and animals. I encountered a client last week that was unusual. While activating her DNA spiritual, one of her guides looked right at me and said, "The DNA is damaged." I was stunned. Although familiar, this was a first. Nah, that's it. DNAs are always damaged, honey. I mean, when you're looking at, of course, God, you have to understand how God is constantly growing. Notice how you can clean your garden one minute and the weeds are back the next. I mean, you can't keep God down. It's constantly growing and expanding. Those things that are weak are terminated, and more growth, more adaptation. I mean, go to Galapagos Islands and look at that. You see the adaptation of species to life circumstances and environments. And that's just what's happening. The thing is, though, man has never been able to adapt to the type of diet that he's eating. It is destroying him. So there's some things that adaptation doesn't happen, and diet is one of them. You want a superior species. I mean, put yourself as the creator. Wouldn't you do the same thing? Because weaknesses would eventually bring you down. Because everything goes weak. Unless, exactly. Now, the guides, angels, God, because, and this brings up a good question here. Repaired the DNA, and I banished the demons that were around her. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Much love. Lisa St. John. Oh, I've heard of it. I can't say that I'm into that sort of thinking, sweetheart, because I'm one of those power hogs. I believe in absorption and God consciousness. And that literally burns everything right out. Let me tell you. That is the top of the regeneration, is when you absorb with the all. spirit, the prana, the life force itself. But as opposed, not as separate as God, as one. So, I don't know. I used to be an entity chaser too. I used to be well known for getting rid of people's entities and stuff. But, it's just that about love and connection and waking up things. DNA, of course, and when you get into DNA and stuff like this, I mean, it definitely has its roots in consciousness and stuff like this. And you can get into the mental worlds and play those games, but if you get above that and go beyond that into consciousness, all that's handled already. All that just burns out and changes away, and no entity can handle the force of God consciousness, But the thing is, the individual is open to allowing that to happen. So this is about the individual getting strong in their consciousness and spending time alone and getting strong in the self. Because I don't want people to freak out when they hear the word entities, because we're all an entity. I'm an entity, you're an entity, we're all considered an entity or a being or whatever. So if you have someone come into your house that you don't like, you tell them to leave, don't you? Well, that's just what? Never fear anything. Fear is what gets you. You don't fear anything. When you don't want something, you put your foot down. That I don't want it. You use the power of knowingness, the power of strength, understanding who you really are. I was told that many, many times, and I still sometimes don't listen. But I've heard of that before, but I don't mess with DNAs and things like that, sweetheart. I'm totally into God absorption, and but I would think that everybody's DNA in that way, but that's not soul. Because DNA has nothing to do with soul. I mean, consciousness, pure consciousness is pure consciousness. You can't convert it, you can't pervert it, you can't do anything like that until you pull it into creation and make it dualistic and start bringing in the mind and all that to play those games. You can't do that with pure consciousness because it's all in the all. There's nothing outside of that. So it's pure essence, and there's just, you don't have to, there's nothing to cleanse, there's nothing to do. So the individual needs to themselves merge into God consciousness, as all of us should. Hard to do because there's certain levels you can't go beyond having a physical body. You can't do it. I've tried to do it, and I get it. You'll burn bad. You can't do it. Not only will you not come back, you will burn bad. The power of God getting closer and closer to the Godhead is, there's no words for you. You guys that have done that, you know what I'm talking about. There's just no words to describe the power. I don't know what power is a bad word. I don't know. But Lisa, I would say that my forte is getting a person to work off all of this karma stuff, and then more and more surrender and merge into that and clean their DNA in that way. But consciousness wouldn't have a DNA to it. State of consciousness would. And all this is states of consciousness. All creation is are states of consciousness or pieces of consciousness. From consciousness. We are consciousness playing with pieces of consciousness. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa, though. Love you, honey. Krista, I have struggled for years with kidney stones and gallstones. Holy crap. I hate that. Me too. Kidney stones, not gallstones. Kidney stones. Oh, I hate those things. Bad stuff. But again, it's all acidosis. I was born with genetically weak kidneys, and that's in your weaknesses. There's your nightmares, So it's all in the game of strengthening. I suffer with allergies, asthma. Now, what's the relationship between the kidneys and kidney stones and allergy and asthma? Kidneys and adrenals. The kidneys on the allergies, why? That's the lymphatic system. The adrenals too, of course, but the adrenals, why? Asthma. Remember, asthma is part of the COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary chain, they call it. The bottom line is, asthma has a neurological connection with it, not just a congestive issue with it. There's a neurological weakness, always the adrenal glands, always makes you hard to take a deep breath, hard to get the breath out. This is all neurological. And you can fix all of that big time. That's the whole point of this. You're going to realize, you guys are just tuned in. You're tuning into a station. It's not like any station you've ever tuned into. We regenerate tissue. We rebuild humans. We rebuild animals. We're not a treatment-based system that deals with diseases and things like that. If you want that, go to the medical doctors. They'll be glad to help you. Their doors are always open. But we're about regeneration and ending of suffering. I suffer with allergies and asthma. Okay, so you got to go into the kidneys and adrenals. Again, you get into the raw food diet, you start alkalizing, put yourself on a couple of kidney formulas you can, some maybe a lymphatic formula, get into the adrenal formulas or glandulars, however you want to do it. Get those adrenals up there, get that neurological system fixed. That'll help fix that breathing and end that problem. Allergies is detox, that's all lymphatics. Lymphatics. And that'll clean all that out. At the same time, it'll clean the gallstones and everything else out. If you want to get rid of the gallstones, go on a raw food diet for about a month, especially a high fruit and berry diet. Get some fast food liquid. It's called fast food liquid from Standard Process. It helps to break up gallstones quicker. And then do a liver gallbladder flush, but not the one with the salt water. Do the one in our book here, the club book there, and it'll flush those stones right out of you. I've done many of them. Everybody's done many of them. A lot of people have. Now, and recently I'm having numbness, coldness, and tingling in legs and feet. Boy, I don't like that. And that's probably coming from that lower back and those kidneys. It's real possible there that you've got a lot of inflammation in this kidney, because to form kidney stones has to be in the presence of acidosis. And that's just what's happening. You know? And so my guess is you're squeezing your nerves going down to your legs, you know. And that's why you're getting the coldness, numbness, and tingling in the legs and the feet. I'd go to a chiropractor, at least have my lower back looked at and maybe adjusted or something. But you want to get that limp because it's making you swell up there. Tingling in arms are beginning. I don't like anything you're saying here, honey. You know, I don't know whether you're coming up here in the C-spine now, cerebellum, anything like that, but you need to get into the detox. The detox is how you clean and regenerate, because it opens up the kidney channels, it'll stop the stones, you know, that sort of thing. That's my problem, is when I detox, I pop out another stone. Well, it's not like gallstones. Gallstones are nice and soft. Kidney stones are rocks. So it's a big difference there. But I don't like that tingling in the arms. I would have a chiropractor look at my spine, start moving that lymph. You hot and cold, work on those neurolymphatic points down my spine and start breaking up that lymph system. Start opening that door up and getting that congestion and that inflammation out of the head area and also out of the spine. The only way to do that is to get kidney filtration again. Chiropractic, oh look, this is a chiropractic help with immediate. Let's see, chiropractic helps with immediate symptoms but comes back. And you know why it comes back? Because of your lymph system. See, you can put that spine in, but it'll constantly be pulled back because of the muscle level of inflammation. And the weaker, the stronger pulls the weaker. So this is just what you see. And it's like why the spine pulls out all the time anyway. So even though you have chiropractic adjustments, you want to always go after the cause, because chiropractic is a therapeutic modality. In other words, they go to help you just like this, to help keep that spine straight so your spinal fluid runs good. And that's detoxing you as well. And, you know, that sort of thing. But you have to take in consideration what causes the problem in the first place, which is inflammation, which is acidosis, which is lymphatics, which is kidneys and adrenals. And that's an always standard thing. Keep it simple. When you really get this, you'll go, damn, this is too simple. Embarrassingly so, I think. But I don't like what you're going through here, and you want to get going with that. Although not a lot of time has passed yet. My blood pressure was, oh my, listen to this, guys. Her blood pressure is 90/54. So 90, yeah, major adrenals. There's no question. And this is a case where you're definitely going to want to put adrenal 400 glandulars. You got a case with 90 over. You can't just give them some herbs. Herbs are great. I mean, this is a case where you'd have to give her licorice for sure. Now, licorice, remember, raises the blood pressure. You would want to give this girl licorice. And that also acts as a little steroid there, and it helps because it's anti-inflammatory. So it would be very helpful. But at 90 over, you want a 400 milligram glandular from New Zealand, in my opinion. The 54, that's also very low. That's kidney function. And that would go along with kidney stones and weak kidneys. but it also will go along with non-filtration, which would lead you into the allergies, and then of course the asthma. That's congestive, of course, just like pneumonia, but with a neurological weakness on the top of that. So you got to always go kidneys and adrenals anyways, guys. Take another formula, brain and nerve, to help enhance the nervous system and work yourself out of that. Always have low blood pressure. I'm 41 and 100 pounds. So she's very small. She's probably malabsorbed. She's 5'2". She's petite. So that tells me she's got a pituitary issue going on in there. And fit, yet having all these issues. Well, fit is a relative word, sweetheart. Fit is a very relative word. And the thing is, someone asked me this years ago. How come everybody looks so good, and yet you say they're so sick? I don't say it. Just take a look around. Take a look at the obits. Take a look at the hospitals, if anybody's ever had an opportunity to spend time in them. Check at the cardiac floor at the ages now that are visiting there for overnight or week stays. Look at the age groups in oncology as opposed to in the 90s even. I mean, it's all there to see. It's enough to say, sweetheart, you got some serious adrenal and kidney problems. And that's led you into the allergy, asthma. At 90 over, you're going to have breathing problems. Shortness of breath, SOB. And hard to take a deep breath. That's neurological. And that's when the nervous system's weak, you feel like you just can't catch a breath. And that's not fun. There's nothing fun about that. I poisoned myself with quinine and know exactly what that's about. I'm considering going to a plant-based diet, considering. Move. Do it now. Although that is not a strictly fruit diet, that'll help. But you want to go on a pretty high fruit berry diet because it'll trip up your nervous system and make it stronger. It at the same time will start aggressively moving this acids out of the body. It'll also help to get the kidneys filtering better. Fruit always helps kidneys filter better than vegetables do because they're astringent. They clean you. And so these are self-cleaning foods. And so I would go that way. I wouldn't wait. I mean, you got too many symptoms here. When you start getting numbness, how fast can you drop the protein, honey? Oh, you already did. Good. Glad to hear it. Because that's what you wouldn't want to do is protein. That's exactly what you wouldn't want to do. And when you start getting numbness and stuff like this, what you don't want to do is increase acidosis. Because you can end up with some palsies or who knows what. You just don't want to go there. No, not with the nervous system. Ask a quad what it's like. You don't want to do that. Well, will just a change in diet correct the problem? No. You're going to want to work on this. You've got some problems here. When you get numbness like this, you've got heavy lymphatic problems. I can tell you, heavy acidosis. Your adrenals are way chronic. 90 over is chronic. 54 shows weak kidneys. So you want to go after those tissues, honey. Really rebuild these. You're 41, but still, you're a young woman, and you want to go after these things. We'll just detox with herbs first. I would get into the raw foods and the herbs and go after myself right now, Krista. And because the tingling, not good. Okay? We don't want anything like that. You don't want to hurt your spinal column. You don't want to hurt anything like that at all. Okay? So you want to change that diet now and get with it. Get the detox going. Get your kidneys filtering. Make sure they're filtering. Trip up those adrenals. I mean, you're really low. When someone is 90 over, most of the time that equals chronic fatigue. If they have maybe a good thyroid and they're a happy soul and everything, they might not see that as much. But as a rule, when you're 90 over, you're dragging out the door. You know, you can't sleep. Your sleep can't seem to get rest. You can't recharge. And of course, that's what leads to the MSs and things like that, is inability to recharge through the adrenal glands, the autonomic nerve fibers. This is hair loss and anemia. All right, this is Dennis. Oh, Dr. Morse, I'd like to say thank you for all your patience and knowledge that you have. Oh, thanks, my friend. Hey, anytime, man. I love you guys, you know. Please continue to bless us with your infinite... Oh, thanks. Well, I wish it was infinite knowledge. Holy crap. You know, there's just some things that doesn't let me see yet. I know. A little game we're playing. I've been dealing with thinning hair for the past year and a half now, and I'm not sure what to do about it. Well, you know, when you're losing hair, I tell you, as soon as I poisoned myself, I mean, I went white, really white, but I still When I got stuck on tea, I just really hurt my kidneys bad. And it's just a childhood thing. But, when you get acidic, and when you are, when you get used to detoxing, you know when you're acidic, you can feel it. You know immediately. And of course, it started creeping up on me with all this. And I could feel the same thing. So to stop hair loss, you've got to get blood and lymph flow back in the brain adequately. And you start with the lymph, because that's what blocks the blood flow. Blood doesn't have anything to block it except what the lymph does. So the lymph is always first. The blood comes clean always. While you're detoxing, the blood comes clean. Now you might detox different chemicals and things back into the blood, but the diet and the herbs are all neutralizing, so you don't even have to worry about those. Sometimes you get a little kick and a symptom from it, but there's nothing else on the planet, guys. You can't expect perfection with all this because there's nothing else on the planet. It's lucky we have at least this tool to regenerate ourselves. Because imagine being in the negative times where there's no regeneration left. I can't imagine that. So that's not where we're at. Regeneration is totally there. Just like you cut yourself, you heal, right? That's regeneration. Now, what about the people that cut themselves and it takes so long to heal and it gets pussy and painful? What's the difference in those and the ones that can cut themselves and don't bleed and it's healed the next day or two? Acidosis. One word. One word. Experiment on yourself. I did. Don't take my word for anything. Go out and have fun and experiment on yourself. That's the fun of it. It's fun to see crap come out of you. I've been dealing with, okay, let me see here. I went to the doctor to have it checked out, and I discovered I was iron-deficient anemia. However, I've been on iron supplements for about a year, and I haven't seen any changes because it has nothing to do with the iron. Plus, if you're iron deficient, I would actually check your adrenal glands. And if you're getting thinning of hair, which system would that be? Oh, that's that dang lymph system again. And, of course, where would we be? Kidney and adrenals again. See the tie-in always where you can tie all these things to same tissues. You only have so many tissues in your body, and you guys are learning them. And this young man, 7 years old, is learning about the body. He'll know more about health in the body than medical doctors that spent 10 years in school. Scary. Okay. But fix your adrenals so you can start utilizing iron better. And get your absorption up, clean your liver out, and all that, and your iron will go right back up. I wouldn't worry about it. However, I've been on an iron, supplements, haven't seen any hair, and it's not. This is a lymphatic problem. Fix the lymph system and you get a full head of hair back. Recently, I've been dealing with IBS. So, going back to the little statement I made about malabsorption, absolutely. That's just IBS. When you have IBS, that's irritable bowel syndrome, you're going to have malabsorption. Because to have irritable bowel syndrome, what side of chemistry could cause that, guys? Glad you agree. Acids, of course it does. Now, think about this. Don't think of just about the bowel and the garden hose, looking in the hose. Think about the wall of the hose. What makes up the GI tract wall, the small and large bowel wall? That's where the problems are. Now, you can have mucoid plaque, and you can have impactions from diverticulums and things like this. Yeah. That's very easy for diet and herbs to clean out of the body. That's a piece of cake. That's a given. How about interstitially in the wall? How do you deal with that? Well, that's why the GI broom is full of astringents to help suck on those mucosas of the gut. However, you have to think internally, and you have to think, okay, this is the lymph system, so I have to go through the doorway of the lymph system, even though it's the lymph system in my GI tract. So I have to go after kidney and adrenals and the lymph system. And then you'll open up, you'll end up IBS, and you'll get your absorption back. And then all your chemistry looks great. And I'm starting to think it might have a thyroid issue. It's possible. Because remember, when you're lymphatically involved, you start seeing loss of things. Hardening, dehydration, agglomeration, tumors, dry skin, dryness, which is dehydration, You see inflammation, you see pain, you see swelling, then you see the breakdown of tissue or cells. Call them whatever the medical wants to call them. How do you stop that? You get rid of the acids. Well, where's the acids coming from? Matter of fact, let me tie this into something Jennifer wanted me to talk about. Let me see here. I don't know if it's in here. I don't know where it's at, but she was saying that someone had emailed her and asking just what toxins are removed out of the body. You know, I think this is a legitimate question on one side of the fence because a lot of people are not thinking. So when a lot of practitioners say, well, why are you detoxing toxins? What kind of toxins could you have in the body? And even when I was reading this paper in the, what was it, Clayton or wherever, the university there, and the International Society of Lymphologists and the blood protein lymph scenario, you still see no mention of cellular waste. What one has to understand, we use the word toxins, but these are acids. Phosphoric acid, carbonic acid, boracic acids. There's all kinds of acids. Look at the Krebs cycle in itself and how many acids are discharged all along the cycles. All along all cycles, metabolism, respiration, they discharge byproducts. We loosely call them toxins, but everything does. And for someone not to understand that, I don't know where you're sitting. Because their whole body is constantly active inside, consuming and eliminating. That's life, is consumption and elimination. Plus, we like to eat the crap. We like to eat foods that are unedible. So we've got all that. We got all the chemistry that was bonded through cooking. Then we have all the chemistry added in when we didn't know better, and we were eating Kellogg's, and we were eating BHT and BHA, and we were eating all the glutamines and all these things. You know, yeah, these are toxins. All the neurotoxins in foods and pesticides that you're eating on your foods. When someone asks me what toxins, I'm going, what? We bring a lot of stuff into the body chemical-wise that shouldn't be in there, guys. On our foods, in our medicines and things like that, stuff it shouldn't be. Look at half the pharmaceuticals kill people. That's a toxin. It's not a medicine. It's not a medicino. It's a toxin. They just give toxins to try to stop toxins. It never works. You see some of the people that are suffering that we get in here, some of your attitudes would change real quick. What they went through listening to the allopathic physician, and now what they're going through. This one lady in particular, I'd like to show you her face. Jennifer was showing it to me today, what she's had to go through. Nightmare, 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 nightmare. And it's steroids, using steroids and things like this is treating symptoms. We must end that focus and lift ourselves up into a higher order of love and respect and understanding. But toxins are everywhere in the air. Just breathing the air is toxic. Remember the chemtrails? I don't know. I have no facts, but it's certainly all over the place. So there's toxins in everything. All your foods have chemicals added to them. They're either sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, or flavor enhancers, or preservatives, all of that line. I mean, they're from everywhere. But the bulk of man's problem is with his own cellular waste. Then you have the dentals, you have the mercuries. I mean, everybody loves vaccination, so you have all that toxins. So, from everywhere, dear one, from everywhere. And that's what you're detoxing out of the body. Let me see here. I get really tired after I eat and have to use the bathroom about 3 to 4 times a day. So, yeah, you're highly inflamed in the gut. So you're getting a spastic bowel out of this, my friend. You got to go back to raw foods. Get that inflammation out of there. You could have a thyroid with that. My stool is very watery and feels most of the time like diarrhea, so I don't know if that plays a part in hair loss. I want you to think about this. The same system that's causing your IBS is causing your hair loss. If we start at the front end of the donkey instead of the ass end of the donkey, we see truth. If you start out trying to lump symptoms into a disease, that's what medical doctors do. That's playing with the ass end of the donkey first. You got to first understand the front and all that that implies. But that's just inflammation, it's causing spasticity there and stuff like that. You want to clean your liver, clean your pancreas, and, clean your bowels up, get your kidneys filtering, get all this lymph moving where you get your absorption up and get this IBS out of there, because the next phase is you start breaking down cells. Medical doctors like to call that cancer, but it's breaking down cells. Well, that's breaking down your GI tract. I'm really at my wit's end and don't know what I can do to help change my life. I've been dealing with a lot of depression because of it. Could you recommend anything for? Absolutely, my friend. No. You can get rid of this. It's easy stuff. Easy stuff. But that's without seeing your eyes. How bad is your lymph system? How deep are you involved in your GI tract? How chronic? That's where iris analysis, the iridology, is everything for you. And I tried to give you enough pictures. Maybe we'll put more classes up later on, but that's what we do in level 2, is really get into it a little bit more about iridology and how you read the eyes and all of this sort of thing. But keep it simple. Things are fun when they're simple, easy to learn. God didn't come down here and say, well, you got to go to Harvard if you're going to be any kind of, come on, give me a break. So it's easy. All this stuff is fun and easy, and have fun with this. Even though you're suffering and some of you are going through these hard times. And so keep it simple. Understand that you're living in the world of acids. Get out of that world. And once you're out of that world, you'll feel it. You'll start recognizing regeneration, and your body will love you and love you and love you. And you'll have a body that will love you for a long time. So you just really want to get in that direction. I'd get on go ahead and start with the kit. At least try to afford kit number 1, because that'll deworm you and everything. It'll start with your bowels and everything. Stomach and bowel number 1 is the one I would use to kind of slow you down, kind of get rid of the inflammation. But you could use marshmallow tea, slippery elm tea, just as an anti-inflammatory. At the same time, you want to get those kidneys filtering, the adrenals up, get your steroids up. That'll help a little bit. At the same time, when your kidneys are filtering, now you have a movement of lymph as you hydrate. Now the acids come out of the interstitial spaces of the body, and particularly the gut wall, and now suddenly you have absorption and you have a good gut wall again. Any cells that have been damaged will either be kicked to the lymph nodes and broken down by macrophages or rebuilt. That's simple. It only took a few minutes. I'm really sometimes down on these because it's just been, we are at a crossroads here, and it's dangerous out there. And man is at a crossroads of his health. And most people are losing their health at a very rapid rate. But I want you to think deeper. I want you to think about the kids. Think about that 7-year-old that wrote me that letter. That got me. Not too many things get me. That got me. Hello, Dr. Morse, to see who this is from. Oh, this is from Joseph. Hey, Joseph. I like the name Joseph. I have emailed you before a year and a half ago about my interstitial cystitis. I am a 19-year-old male and have had Jesus criminy, there's so much of interstitial cystitis right now out there. It's a word we never heard of before. Well, interstitial, we all know what that is, right? That's around your cells, right? So it's easy to understand when someone says something's interstitial, that means around your cells. Well, of course it's around your cells. It all is. And that's the lymph system. And inflammation is acidosis. So it says that you have acids all around your interstitial spaces. Well, where does that come from? The cell itself, guys. The cell itself. The cell is constantly discharging waste. A baby doesn't stop pooping or peeing. No, it's a constant thing. You eat, you eliminate. Same with the cells. They eat, they eliminate. How are you eliminating your cellular waste? That should be our new motto. How are you eliminating your cellular waste? Makes a nice shirt or something like that. Most people are like, what? But it is. Do you even think of your cellular waste? No, no one does. No one's tripped at that level of thinking. The problem is most practitioners aren't either. Even the International Society for of course they might in their deeper work. But you've got to start realizing cellular acids, cellular proteins, not blood proteins. You can't have that amount of blood protein without compromising life. You got to understand that. And medical doctors they still want to pull that antiquated, dump all these acids into the venous system syndrome with them. And of course now lipids are absorbed way up there too because they missed the old 1900s chart where the lipids were carried from the lymph of the small bowel to the liver. And this guy has had, I remember this, I think I remember reading him. He had it since he was 13. When I was 14, I had I think I remember reading your thing, man. Had Botox injected into the bladder. Holy crap. You see what I'm saying? And you know what? And people think we're woo. Is it woo to eat some fresh fruits and vegetables and take herbs that God made for man's healing? Is that woo? No. Injecting Botox into the bladder is woo. Botulism into Jesus. You see what I'm saying? This just makes these people worse and worse. And then, of course, if you freeze up the bladder, oh my God. This poor young man is such a trooper. Did this hurt me? And is this something that can be detoxed out? Yeah, but my God. I want to go full raw this summer and get this crap out of me. Good man. Love how you're thinking, man. I have been drinking marshmallow root tea. Good idea. Marshmallow, slippery elm. Licorice might help you and bring your adrenal up with that. That'll help give you a little more steroids, anti-inflammatory power there. Give you a little more neural kick to the bladder and kidney as well. Yeah, you want to get, again, this is all about, and then we're right at the door. This is the bladder. So, there's this whole kidney, bladder, and lymph node connection there, and you just got to work on that and work on that. Go on some kidney formulas, get on an adrenal formula, start detoxing this out of your bladder. I would stay away from the citruses, of course. Anything that's highly acidic, stay away from your acid fruits. Do your subacid fruits like grapes, apples, things like this. You still might feel a little pull on that. Definitely want to get into maybe one lymphatic formula and 2 kidney formulas at first. Work yourself through this. Watermelon season's coming. Going to be strong on the bladder, but watermelon is real strong at cleansing. So there might be a little pain going through as acids are astringed out, but you got to get through this and go through that wall before you start breaking down your bladder, because you can't hold acids in the bladder for too many years without breaking down the cells and causing either tumor cysts or bladder cancer. So this is what acids do. So no one's helped you to understand these are acids in there and you need to get those out. So I would do just what you're saying. I'd jump on a fruit diet because you run the risk of breaking down your bladder. And I have people come in here that peeing out parts of their bladders. And you're just, no. But a good take. And your stomach tea a lot. Is it possible to get my bladder to a normal size and hold urine? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Absolutely. And interstitial cystitis, guys, is not fun. I mean, these are not fun. Constant irritation down there. Imagine constant irritation in the bladder. It's just not something that's fun. Sometimes a constant need to pee. I mean, there's just nothing like this is fun. But there is a remedy for you. But it is detoxification. There's no other thing out there, guys. There's no other thing. That's why I keep saying this is the golden key. But you got it good. Marshmallow tea is good. Slippery elm is good. Like I say, licorice is good. That sort of thing. But those are more anti-inflammatories. You also want some pullers a little bit, like some astringent herbs, like the lymphatic formulas. Just a little bit. Astringent sometimes hurts when you're astringing highly inflamed areas, but my God, you got to break in and open these places up. and get life back in there. Get these places hydrated and alkalized. And it requires alkaline chemistry. So you'd imagine, why is a naturopath out there? Why do naturopaths out there recommend high proteins? I personally would love to strip them of their naturopathic degrees. Anybody that recommends high protein, you must realize that naturopathy was never a meat-oriented modality. Naturopathy, the first thing you did was get rid of animal products. Always. That's always been naturopathy. So to see naturopaths recommending high-protein diets in cancer cases and stuff, part of the problem, not part of the solution. And these are good people that think they know. And some of them have good hearts wanting to help people, but they were educated wrong. And that's a problem. A naturopath, if you want to be a naturopath, start studying all the natural hygienic books, all the raw food books. Get into that level. See if you can find the old, which I can't even hardly find them, the old Benedict Lust original books. Get and really find some the old books and show you the movement of natural health and what was really behind it. Now you can buy candy in health food stores. Regular candy. That's how we slip. And we slip back and we slip back. It's just a negative. It's a battle between the two forces. Let me pull you back. Did you want that piece of meat? Wasn't that good? Always got to watch the mind. It likes to go back into its comfort zones. Leticia? I can't pronounce some of your names. I solely apologize. Old farm boy stuff. Chronic kidney failure, 5th stage. Jesus. Look at how much kidney failure out there, guys. There's so much of this. When you're in kidney failure, the first thing you must understand is you don't want anything harsh going into your body. And harsh is acids. Harsh are proteins. You don't want that. You want to soothe. Like this gentleman who's doing marshmallow tea. That's what you want to do with kidney failure. Marshmallow tea, slippery elm, anti-inflammatory, cool down, hydrate, remove acids, love, enhance, rebuild. Dear Dr. Morse, thank you very much for your Q&A program. You're welcome, my dear. I have CKF, end stage, since 20 years, and the last time my kidneys produced urine was about, oh my God, that's really bad, 18 years ago. You haven't produced urine for 18 years? Okay, the good news. That's good. I like your attitude already. Sounds like a pretty good person here. Who is this? I never got any transplant. I didn't have diabetes. Are you serious? I have a parathyroid intact, untouched. The bad news. Ooh. I have had osteoporosis symptoms because sky-high PTH, that's parathyroid hormone. I can't pee at all. Dr. Morse, is there any hope for me? Absolutely, my dear. All right, so let's start thinking. The first thing you want to do, of course, is change diet radically. Go to the raw. Go to the raw. Even if it's green drinks, go to the raw. I stay sub-acid for a little while and then move to some acid fruits. But sub-acid, like a lot of grapes. I take it you're on dialysis, right? So you really got to start working with those kidneys and just working with them using kidney formulas. You can use a kidney glandular. In your case, you got atrophy of the kidneys. You want to do kidney glandulars, do the kidney herbals. At the same time, you want a fruit and berry and melon diet, very gentle. You can deal with some green drinks, but I'd be gentle with my kidneys. I stay away from all proteins, beans, grains, nuts, seeds, all those things. Absolutely. You don't want protein with kidneys that are atrophying. No way. Your life wants to be totally away, 100% raw foodist. And I would say this, I would move quick up into the fruit, berries, and melon side of this. The good news is that probably the adrenals were better because there's no diabetes. That's the adrenals, not the kidneys. So the adrenals sit on top of the kidneys. Why so much parathyroid hormone? You could have hyperactivity up here where you have inflammation in the thyroid, parathyroid, so you either have hypo or hyperactivity. That's possible. Again, you're into calcium utilizations. Who knows? Maybe you're burning calcium at such a rate because you have osteoporosis. Now, what's interesting is you have osteoporosis because of the PTH. I find that interesting because PTH should make your bones so hard that you wouldn't fracture them at all. Osteoporosis is generally because of too much acidosis. I would think calcitonin would be the one you might have too much of, but, you know, whatever your blood work shows. But you can detox and normalize all that out of there. But it's never too late for anybody, and you have to work with that, no matter if it's an advanced cancer case or not, because who's to say? Especially some of you guys, you incredible guys, who have turned around some of these cases. And I've said this before, a lot of you have done this. A lot of you are working with good cases. Marco and Shane, you've turned around some incredible cases yourself. So I'm so proud of you guys to show you how an individual can learn in a short order how the body works, how to fix it. Of course, these people are already spiritual people, and how they can help others turn around that quick. That's how beautiful this is. And anybody with a degree, don't get insulted. We were all trapped into that. And it's okay to have degrees. Don't let them build narcissism and elitism in you. Always build humility and love. If not, your butt gets kicked. and kicked and kicked. It'll make you humble. So might as well start now. So I see it all as good news. I mean, I've definitely got some serious problems here, but you know, love those kidneys. Get the marshmallows and the your slippery elms and things like that will help you. The Heal All tea is full of those, so it'll help you with that, with a little plantain to pull. So I would be drinking a lot of Heal All tea with this, and even the 3-lung tea. There's just 3 herbs in there, but they're all for hardened sputum, hardened lymph nodes, things like that. That's good at helping to break up the lymph system in the body as well. Even though they're more for upper respiratory, they'll still affect the whole body. But yeah, don't ever count yourself down, guys. Never. Get your power back. Now you've got a channel to go through. You've got a lot of people to help you. I'm always here. You've got a lovely bunch of groups there. You've got movethelimp.com. You got all kinds of Facebooks, and we're bringing more practitioners in and joining us. So the bigger we get, the better we get. You always will have help, and good, loving people to help you. So have at it, sweetheart. Go after that. Don't ever sit there and think you're counted down. You're never down. Go after those kidneys, my dear. You might need a practitioner to help you with that one, though. Stefanie, hi, my dear. I believe I have interstitial cystitis. I have urinary frequency, urgency, and an inflamed bladder. Yeah, I mean, it all is, basically. Most of everything is interstitial, guys. You don't want intra, I-N-T-R-A, intracellular. That's worse. That means you're acidic in the cell, and that's not good. That's where you mutate. What we talked about, DNA damaging and things like that, absolutely. But what you don't realize is that also damages the state of consciousness, because that's, after all, what all we're talking about anyway. It's backtracking, because if you were looking what my comment is on the donkey thing, we're at the ass end of the donkey here in planet Earth. We want the head. We want the God-conscious state, right? That's the ride of all rides. That is the ride of all rides. You think the physical health is the ride of all rides. No. But you're right on, sweetheart. I eat grapes, watermelon, berries. I drink a cup of beet juice. Oh, smart woman. Now, she brings up a good point here. I forgot all about that. Beet juice. Beet juice. Oh, very, very strong. So be a little gentle with it. I told you before I did a 3-day beet juice. Someone challenged me to a 3-day beet juice. I didn't think anything about it. I said, no problem. Bam, 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 right? Ho, ho, ooh, ooh. That pulled. That's strong. That's kidney and liver. So I've always said, instead of carrot juice fast, try a beet juice fast, night and day. And she's doing green juice consisting of dandelion, parsley, celery, and other veggies. This is a smart lady. As a result, the pain on most days is gone, but I urinate 50 to 60 times a day. Same thing, keep working this. You want to get on some kidney herbs? I would, and maybe one lymphatic herb. You'll start moving that lymph system a little more aggressively within the kidney itself and the lymph nodes around that area. Clean up the bladder, the GI tract, because you do have a blowback a little bit from the GI tract to the bladder. So you want to clean up the GI tract too. And then all that will just work itself out. Just what you're doing, it'll work itself out, it'll work itself out, it'll work itself out. Nothing rarely is like that. But as you keep moving, it'll work itself out and work itself out and work itself out. Just what you're doing. You guys are doing really good. But I add some kidney formulas in there. Don't forget the herbs are beautiful for things like this. And lymphatic herbs, that pulls and draws, but still that'll help open this up a little bit. And then you can go into your teas like your marshmallows, your slippery elms, your everything you're doing. Your dandelions and stuff like this are great. So good, smart girl here. And so you see how much interstitial cystitis is out there. It's all over the place. But the bottom line is, take a look at the eyes, and what you see is chronic bladders out there. It isn't just about interstitial inflammation or acidosis. It's about the condition and the state of the bladder itself. That means the cells themselves. I mean, we're working on some bad genetics. And notice this one young man's only 19 years old, and this is what you're seeing. Imagine the 7-year-olds and things. I mean, it's all over the place, guys. You guys are needed so bad. Especially those of you that want to be healers. This is a great time to become one. And when we become one, we work out the stuff that doesn't work, we get rid of the crap, and we work together to heal the world. It's a dream, but you know what? We're doing it. And it's not that it's helping the world, but it's, you realize who we're helping. Okay, here's another one. Lethel? Subject, message. I have done a marathon of watching your videos. Oh my God. Well, here's 5 gold stars. Here's a gold star. If you can do that, you need some gold stars there. I need to give you an award. I am enlightened, and I wish I knew this earlier. I would have changed. I am 40. But you're 40. That's good, man. 40. You know, when you get 60 or so, you'll look back and go, at least I got it in my 40s. Some of our clients are 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and I do have some 100-year-olds. So, you know, imagine a 100-year-old going, oh, I wish I knew this. But you know what? Your next involvement is even better than this one. Everything gets better, and you have to say that, unless you're creating negative karma. And that's why I say, realize everything is cause and effect. This is physics. You can relate it to Christianity, you can relate it to Buddhism, you can relate it to most religions out there. Every soul on this planet should learn cause and effect. I don't care where you are, who you are, what nationality you are, because it'll protect you and your future. Because your future is what you create. You ever heard that? Exactly. I mean, we lose that and we bump and uglies with everybody and things, but we don't realize we're creating our own path with our own desires, our own thoughts. Everything's ours. If you don't like the path you're on, change it, because only you can change it. You got a lot of helpers now. That's good. But only you can change this stuff. But as soon as I heard you, I changed. I understood the bottom line is acid in the lymph system. Simple, isn't it? Being blocked. One must detoxify first to balance out the body. All diseases coming from the lymph being impacted, or the body generally too acidic? Absolutely. My question is, have you balanced the health of anyone with hepatitis B? How many times? You're looking at one. Yeah, I had Hep B way back. I was into martial arts. I was into, I was young. I was into martial arts. I was working at the phone company. I was trying to open up my business. I was overworking. I was helping my friend load phone trucks in the middle of the night. So I was doing all kinds of things, and I just ended up with Hep B. I was drinking, smoking, all kinds of stuff. Window pane, you know, stuff like that. And so, but you know, again, you clean out, you clean up the liver. You just clean up the liver. But to clean up the liver, I clean up my bowels. To clean up the bowels, I clean up the kidneys. That you see where we're going with this? Yeah, and you'll get rid of that Hep B easy. Of course, follow you. Yeah, absolutely, my friend. You'll be able to clean that up easy. Hep B easy. We get Hep C all the time here. Cirrhosis, liver cancers. These are all out there everywhere. But the liver's easy to clean up and fix. But remember that the branch of the tree. The liver is simply a branch of the tree, as the pancreas and spleen, and the tree is the gut, the GI tract. To back here in the back. How's our time doing? Pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see, who's this? Another non-member. Okay. Good morning. Thank you to the videos what are doing. I have a health problem. I feel palpitations or irregular heartbeat. I am only 24. Oh my God. 24, and I am a light sleeper, and I am more irritable and more easily angered. I lost weight and my hair, etc. I don't do any physical activity. The flow from my blood circulation is low. Thank you for your attention. I feel sorry for my English. Don't feel sorry. I don't. That doesn't bother me one bit. I don't have real good English sometimes either. You know, I can't pronounce words this long. Sometimes not even that long. You know, there's no disgrace for anything, guys. We're all just spiritual beings having some human experience and learning how communication art through the physical and emotional and mental apparatuses. No one should be down on another for anything. This is just creation. This is the soap opera of life. Everybody's different. Everybody's on different levels. We have to accept all that and see that God is always on different levels. Multiple. We don't realize all our frequencies are full of life forms just because we can't see it. You know, funny, man's been so narcissistic like that. Because they can't see it, it doesn't exist. But now suddenly we have nano and sub-nano levels of things, and they're the cause of all man's problems. Young. Okay, so here's the thing. Dominique. Okay. At 24 years old, you know, you can just about count on two things problematically. You can count on kidney weakness and you can count on adrenal weakness. Now, we also have a world of everything else in the body that's weak. So I would get my diet away from proteins, start hydrating myself. I'd go after kidneys and adrenals. Why the adrenals? Neurotransmitters. They affect the heart. So I would go after my adrenal glands. I would go after my GI tract. Why? Stomach, nerve ganglia, parasympathetic, sympathetic ganglia directly affects your heart. So you could have extreme acid reflux and start having heart palpitations from it. You could build up gas. We've had a lot of people visit the ER. When I spent a few years in the ER, we had people always coming in complaining of chest pains, and it was trapped gas. So this is, and it feels like chest pains. So this is, again, this is a process of hydration, of cleaning, and strengthening. I would use a brain and nerve number. This is what I do. I'd use brain and nerve number 2. If you feel like blood circulation is a problem, I would use upper and lower circulation for sure. I would use the heart formula in case you have a genetic heart weakness, and that you can check, get a picture of your eyes, particularly the left eye, look at 3 o'clock, see if you have a heart weakness, see if you have a lesion there, get yourself an iris chart, they're online probably everywhere, and have your mom or someone look in the eye there, your wife or whoever, and see if you have a lesion there. If you have a weakness there, I would strengthen that with the heart formula. Most of the time we're looking at neurological weaknesses, but I say this: if the lymph system is highly backed up, it'll swell the heart and it'll cause neurological imbalances. Absolutely. It'll take the electrical charges away from the SA node. You start firing from all chambers, or from the upper and lower chambers. I mean, it gets into all kinds of things. Have you worn a Holter monitor to see what kind of arrhythmias you're having? Are you having just a sinus arrhythmia? Are you having PVCs, PACs, heart pulses? Each one of these are something different. Another thing you want to think about is a parathyroid. If you're running low in calcium utilization, you're going to have heart palpitations. So you want to make sure your parathyroid, how's your fingernails? Are they strong? Are they brittle? Do you have spider veins on you? How strong? Did you have growing pains when you were growing up? That's another sign of parathyroid weaknesses. Depression, another sign of parathyroid weaknesses. So you want to fix all these things that relate to neural impulses. At the same time, though, you want to hydrate, because acidosis, of course, ruins electrical transmissions. So, you know, again, electrolytes and electrical lights, you know, they transmit electricity. And when you're dehydrated, you lose that ability. See where we're going with that? And I would then refurbish my body, and all that'll come out of there. You're too young for heart palpitations. So again, strengthen heart if it's a heart weakness. At the same time, though, you want to go after all these other factors. Look at your eyes and see where you are there. And then all that'll come out of you. You want to do it while you're young, because you don't want to have any problems there. Let me see here. This is Robin's. Message is hello. Hello, Robin. I hope this message will find you well. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you know of Diatomaceous Earth, could you please give your opinion about it? Well, you know what? People ask about that all the time. And you know why we use it, right? Kill parasites, because we have all these little bitty, but it's so ground up it shouldn't hurt, right? I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe in using any of that stuff. You know, anything that has a potential to cut or tear, anything that's solidified like that, or what I would call close to inorganic, what are you trying to do with it? Its electricity is low. It doesn't have a major impact like charged electrolytes that are family oriented. This is hardened on its way toward, death, so to speak. So why we're going into a lower form to try to find health, I don't know why people. I see it as a lack of intelligence of healing. And so people are grabbing all these bizarre things like fecal implants and urine therapy and all these things to try to find wellness. And it's right in front of everybody's face. It's right here. It's easy. And you don't have to go to these things. And besides, save your money. Put it on herbs, because you don't want to run any risk of hurting the bowel wall or the mucosa of the body. Even though, yes, we have them ground fine and things like this, but we use it to kill parasites. It rips their insides out. So it's enough to say I don't recommend anything like that. It's not necessary. My opinion, it's another burden on the body. It's a low electrical, and anything low in electricity is more of a burden on the human body. You must give your physical body due respect. The human body is a very advanced body. You need to give it due respect and feed it accordingly, because it's your machine while you're here, and an incredible one at that. So feeding it this bizarre stuff is bizarre to me, and not necessary. Get on your fruits, berries, and melons. If you're gonna do something like anything like that, the earth, or anything like a bunch of other stuff I can think of here, I guess, but why not herbs? This is Sue. Hello, Sue. How do you do? I have just watched a video about your herbal remedies that helped to cure your patient that suffered an overactive Graves' thyroid. Well, that's easy. That's not amazing. That's easy, honey. That's some of the easiest stuff to do, to be honest with you. This stuff's easy stuff. The hard stuff is the cancers, the quads, the paraplegic, the MSs. These are the more challenging cases. Everybody else is way downhill from there and way easy. Now, interstitial cystitis can tug for a while you're opening up that bladder, no question about it. But things like underactive thyroids or hyperthyroids, those are so easy. Hyperthyroidism is so easy to fix, it's not even funny. And yet they'll remove your whole thyroid or cut half of it out for that, or radiate it and kill it. If that isn't insane thinking, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just so bizarre I don't even have words for it. Well, I've suffered from an underactive thyroid for almost 25 years, and I still struggle for the most part. You know what's funny? A simple glandular, non-hormonal, a simple glandular for the thyroid will enhance the thyroid. Remember how you get mucus in the throat and the bronchial trunk, and when you get cold and flus, the thyroid gets full of mucus all the time. How many people have nodules in their thyroid glands? They have nodules all through your body. These are all swellings. These are all mini tumor things. I mean, this is all interstitial fluid going nowhere fast. So you have to detoxify it out of the body. That's the only one remedy. When you have hyper anything, there's only one word. You don't feed, you detox. And the hyperactivity will come right out. Hyperactivity fits more under what side of chemistry? you guys are too good. Exactly, acidosis. Very stimulating. Spastic, all these things. Dehydrating. That's all these words for acidosis. Extremely tired. My doctors tried to put me on a synthetic thyroid many years ago, which was hell on earth. I sourced and read up about Armour thyroid from America and have been using it since. Please, can you help me? Yeah, because even Armour, Jensen thought Armour, being a natural hormone, a natural T4 should be fine and enhance the thyroid. He was mistaken. So when he came to me, him and his wife, big time thyroid problems in both of them. Particularly the wife had went boom, way down, and she had a parathyroid, so it went way down. Not good. You can't take anything a gland needs a gland makes. You insult the gland almost says, well, I'm not going to do it. If you're going to supply it, I'm not. I mean, it's the kind of attitude you think these glands have because they flatly start shutting down. So you don't want to do that. You want to enhance the thyroid, but always when things start shutting down, what could be causing that? I mean, what you have, you got cells, you got two fluids that go to cells, you got interstitial spaces around every cell, you've got interstitial fluid, which is predominantly lymph, the little blood in there. So where's the problem? See where I'm getting at? Your problem is with the two fluids that directly touch the cells. Now, you can have genetic weaknesses, but genetic weakness is in the DNA and in the cell, right? But what creates that? See, we're always going to pull you back to the sewer system and acidosis, always. Whether it was your great-great-great-great-grandmother or whether it was you yourself. It's all the same. It's easy to understand how we're doing this. It's just reversing all this and cleaning our bodies out and rebuilding our bodies. There's plenty of great berries. Now remember, berries are the glandulars, so start doing berries. But we have berry formulas for all the glands. But I would use a glandular. If it was me, I'm going to use a glandular, about 150 milligrams of thyroid from Australia or New Zealand, and I'm going to slowly titrate. Depends how long I've been on Armour, but I would probably slowly titrate off of that. But no big deal. What's it going to do? Because you're backing it up with power. You're backing up with something that rebuilding or enhancing the whole thyroid. Over here, you're just handling T4, which is an already converted T3. So you're really not doing anything for the thyroid at all. And if you're not doing anything to make your body healthier, then the thyroid is going to keep going downhill. But these things are easy to fix up. Any one of you guys out there should be able to help this person with their thyroid gland by now. Any of you that have been listening to these videos all these years should be able to help this lady. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Oh, look. Of course, that isn't the stack down there that's about that thick. My name is Hugo. I have been experiencing goodies.
Yeah.
Good. I like
for your desk.
Huh?
This was all ginseng. Do you want this in here?
That Jensen's? Oh yeah, that's pretty.
I don't know if you want it anywhere. I've been carrying it around my desk for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that Jensen stuff too?
No, it's for your desk.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. My name is Hugo. I have been experiencing a high amount of pressure in and around. Experiencing a high amount of pressure in and around my ears and pressure at the back of my head. Now, Hugo, I don't like this. I don't like what you're saying here. We don't want this either. We want this pressure out of there. This has led to depression and social anxiety. I can see that. It feels like a pulse is running heavily, focused around the back of my head. I can't sleep. Dizziness. Well, this is a cerebellum, my friend. And that's exactly what you're experiencing. Dizziness from standing up, and your blood pressure can start flipping. Go real high and then real low. Boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, all kinds of things start happening. Yawning and holding breath seems to be a symptom as well. I wake up feeling hungover every day. Any help would be, Hugo, you want to get this one, huh? My friend, you want to get this one. All right. Again, this is the inflammation backed all the lymph system backed up into the head again, and nothing good comes about that, you know. This is where you start getting into brain lesions and getting into vertigos and dizziness and, you know, dropping your legs. I mean, this is the whole thing of MS and the whole thing of this. So, you want to go after what? What's the first thing you want to think about? Your lymphatic system. This is inflammation. So you want to go after what? Kidneys and adrenals, first things. Absolutely. So you want to go after those. So you're going to go after kidneys, adrenals. You want to go after the lymphatic system. That's a big deal for you. Use those neural lymphatic points down your back. That's key. Cold, ice cold compresses on the back of the head when you start to feel dizzy and things like that. You can do that ice cube thing, but be careful with the 20 minutes back there, too long. But you want to start working with that. Start working with moving the lymph system. Very, very important stuff that you do this. The pressure, this is a glaucomic pressure. This is a lymphatic pressure. There's nothing you can take medically for this, nor would you want to. This is what's building in your body from edemic changes, from acidosis. So you really want to get this out of there. Absolutely want to get this out of there. And I can just say, go to 100% raw foods. Give it about a week or two, and then kick up the fruits, berries, and melons. Pull yourself right into this, because you could damage some tissue here and you got to rebuild it. I would definitely go into maybe some upper circulation and brain and nerve just to help, but you want pure detox to drain down that back. And again, use those neural lymphatic points going down your back. We have a video on those. Use those to help open and get this drainage. Cold application to the back of the head when you feel dizzy and stuff. Really important, Hugo, to fix this, because then this all leads to MACDs and all the other stuffs upstairs, the honey, where did I park the car syndromes and stuff like this. Fix this now, Hugo, and you'll have a great life. You'll get away from all that stuff. But this is another symptom of lymphatic pressures and lymphatic issues here. Autoimmune disease, LS. Let me get a drink for another autoimmune. Let's see, which drawer can I use to put that one in? I'm writing on behalf of my girlfriend who has been diagnosed with lichen sclerosis today. It's an autoimmune disease in her vaginal area. So now we have autoimmune in the female areas. Yeah. It connects lovemaking to pain, skin ripping open, and it is supposed to be untreatable. Now you realize, though, medically, everything is uncurable. You have to understand that. Did anybody ever stop and think about that? There's nothing they can cure anyway. Nothing. Just because you give some pharmaceuticals to suppress the symptom and the symptom disappears, that's not a cure, guys, as you know already. It's a blowback coming. That's what that is. Anytime you suppress, I've always said this little saying, what you suppress today is your nightmare tomorrow. And most of you that had skin problems know that very well. Anybody that's been on a steroid for skin problems know exactly what I'm talking about. And the blowback is not fun. And this isn't fun either. Well, I'll tell you this. Tell her to start douching with the Heal-All tea. I made that for females and atypical cells and vaginal walls. At the same time, you got to get the kidneys and adrenals up. You start moving that lymph and moving all this inflammation vaginally and everywhere else around the female areas. It'll trip up the whole body, of course, but that's what you want to go after here. Let me see. I'm not on board with that. I don't believe it. Have you any experience with that? I found a doctor online that says he has found a stem cell treatment. I think they're all full of crap, Claudius. I think you're exactly right. These guys don't know how to stem cell. I mean, give me a break. Regenerate your girlfriend as she is. So you want to take off with her, get her diet changed to 100% raw, and then move her up into the fruits, berries, and melons. Start detoxifying. Use the Heal-All tea to douche with, and if she can just hold it up in her for a little bit. In other words, you in a bathtub, make yourself some skin temperature tea there. Insert the tea vaginally. Hold it for a minute or so. Then you lift your hips up, discharge, then and put in more, and keep working the health of that tissue. At the same time, though, go after the adrenals so you have plenty of systemic estrogen and progesterone. At the same time, you might want to do the female reproductive for me. It tones the female organs. So especially while we have the the herbs in there that that herb totally went out of my mind. But we're raw crafting some of these herbs out, and this herb is really an incredible female herb. So anyway, I don't know why it went out, but too many things coming in. But you can strengthen that female part, and you want to do that because we've had cases of the vulvodyne and all these things that deal with pain and deterioration of the vulva and the female areas. You just want to, this is all about acidosis, and every part of your body's up for grabs. When your tissue's getting thin, you get a lot of pain. That's high acidosis. And acids, of course, break down cells, so your tissues get thin. Also, pain on intercourse or dryness vaginally can also be a sign of low estrogen levels. Even though estrogen is acidic, minor acids are very moisturizing, so to speak. So these are some of the things that you want to take a look at and go after her big time, because she could end up having some serious female problems, and that's no fun. Life is to have fun. So you want to detox. You could use some salves on the female. You could use the heal-all salve, rub it on the outside, and also put some inside. I'm trying to get some suppositories someday, but our labs are overworked right now, so I can't bug them about suppositories now, but I would love some suppositories for both vaginal and rectal suppositories. That would be very helpful to us, wouldn't it? As practitioners, we're looking for tools to help us and help you get better faster, because we know what happens if we don't. So it's something we're trying to do here as a team here. Here's Chad. Hello, Dr. Morse. I hope you're doing well. Thanks, Chad. I hope you're doing well, my friend. And hope that you make sure you take enough time out. Oh, thanks. You're a good bro, man. I know. I know. I try not to stress over these things, but when you come to a planet like this and you look around, you go, what in the hell is going on here? Somebody hasn't been watching. So we got to fix some things. You know what I mean? But you're a good man for saying that. Thanks. Appreciate your love, man. You got it back. Got it back. A shift in consciousness has begun from a better planet, hasn't it? Pretty cool stuff. I know it's stuff. And you're a big... Oh, thanks, my friend. I love you, man. I really love you. You're a good man. Well, all of us together makes a huge difference, don't it? When we're all helping others in the world, it makes a big... It's hard to deny when a quad gets up out of a chair. It's hard to deny an MS client who's in a wheelchair bound and gets up. Hard to deny those things. We just had another cancer case, and the doctor said to her, this had to be misdiagnosed. No, it wasn't misdiagnosed. She even went through chemo. That could be risky for you. My question is about herbs. I've read recently from someone who operates a fasting retreat in the Caribbean, however you wish to say it, somewhere, that although he agrees with you on most things, especially water fasting being the king of the hill, when it comes to detoxification, he does not agree that herbs in general or herbs or something in general, and the herbs and tinctures, glandulars you offer are necessary for detoxification and are not true healing. Well, I disagree with him. And I don't know who this guy is, but I know what I am and who I am and how many people I've helped. My reputation speaks for itself. I think you guys know that. You guys have seen it. You guys have done it on yourselves. So I don't know where these guys come from, A lot of people have negative impressions about herbs. They don't know anything about them. And that's the problem. It's the one we read earlier, and a lady that is spouting off how herbs are suppressive to the body and things like this. It's like, I love opinions on people that are not familiar with them. It goes a long way. He claims that it is a reputable fact that herbs are technically toxic. That's not true. I don't know where he's getting this. It is not irrefutable fact that herbs are toxic. What are you saying, buddy? Who is this guy? You know what? He doesn't understand herbs then. It's not irrefutable. What are you talking about? There's herb schools all around this world. All the Chinese would probably be dead. 3/4 of the Indians would be dead. Who else? I got over 100,000 under my belt. They're all dead. What are you talking about? I don't know who this guy is, but this guy is, not totally clean yet inside. Symptomatic relief and not long-term healing, and it claims it makes you feel better only in the short term. Oh, it's full of crap. We cure people right up. And curing means make better, make healthy, make well, regenerate tissue. I don't know. I have nothing but that, so I don't know where he's coming from. Maybe he's using some herbs from the back room that's been in storage for 20 years. Who knows? In a nutshell, he says that water fasting and eating high water content fruit afterwards are the only real way of healing totally. Not really. And I will water fast people that are very advanced, and if he does, then he's could get in some serious trouble. You got to be real careful. Of course, he's in the islands, but you got to be real careful. And it is not sensible to water fast somebody that's highly toxic and acidic. Not sensible at all. So I don't know where he's coming from that standpoint of view. He's right about the watery fruits. You know, the watery fruits are definitely the best for detoxification, no question. Let me see what else. Afterwards, the real toilet. He says herbs are not food for humans. Well, I guess they're good for all the other animals on the planet, vertebrates, but man is special. Man's above everything else anyway on the planet, right? And so what is good for the animals certainly isn't good for man. Certainly not. Oh, you know, those kind of attitudes are just reflective of lower states of consciousness. I don't care who this guy is. Sorry. God made these herbs, and I'm with the Chinese and the Indians. I find them to be incredible. And of course, I'm with all the islanders. There's all the islanders would be dead too, because they come in here loving the herbs. Herbs are incredible. I've used them for almost, I was, of course, being a chemist, I used vitamins and minerals at first. Yep, I did. I used vitamins and minerals. We didn't have so many amino acids back then. So I used a lot of supplements at first, and I'm going, what? I'm not seeing the level of regeneration I would like. I'm not seeing detoxification like I would like, even though I'm a, fruitarian thinker and that. So when I started using the herbs, my healing went pring to the roof. So I don't know. You know, when you ask someone like me who has extreme success at regeneration of tissue, that have gotten people out of wheelchairs and from MS and quads and paras, and who've done all the, we cleaned up everything you can imagine. I cleaned up spider bites, snake bites, everything with the herbs. So when people come out and blow this kind of horn, talking about herbs are bad and stuff like that, these are people that are unaware, and they're touting things that they don't really know because they've never used them. These are fear-based people probably or something, they throwing out stuff. I'm a practitioner. Do have some education behind me, I guess. But if you wanted to call me self-taught, that would be very embarrassing to a certain group of people, wouldn't it? So, I don't know what to say, my friend. The same thing as the other one, Let the guy blow. But he's blowing bad stuff, because he just doesn't know what he's talking about. I've used them by the gallons, and people love them. I love them. And it's not just me. They're used mostly, what people don't understand is herbs are used more than pharmaceuticals around the world still today. People just don't understand that. They don't see that because the medical profession is still predominant. So to say herbs are bad for you, and people have been using them for over 5,000 years, doesn't know what he's talking about. Not at all. And it's common to see people blapping their mouth, saying things they have no experience with. I'm not going to do that. Bad karma, because what this guy's going to end up having is a need for herbs to prove that herbs are good for you. He's making a statement. The guy's going, oh, okay, you don't like my herbs? We'll just see. That's the kind of attitude I don't want to create. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is resubmission. Oh, my God, I missed this one. This is Michelle Lee. Subject, General Health Inquiry. Message, hello, my friend. It's Michelle. Hi, sweetheart. I'm 16 years young. Look at that. I have eczema. Look at how many young people, skin. But that also means what? Kidneys and adrenals? Thyroids are probably low. 16 years old. Have had it since birth. Shows you that the mother's lymph system is a mess. I've had a couple of surgeries to cut certain spots out. Let me guess, this medical doctor that did it doesn't like herbs either. Sorry, I just have that nature in me because I'm becoming a warrior dude. I mean, it's just, things are getting more negative, more things. We have to become, stand up for truth, honesty, and integrity. People throw out this crap all the time, and it's working. People don't know what to do. They're confused. So we have to get a group of us on the same focus, the same line, if we want to change things. Because you have people like this guy that's touting this. Oh, this is probably one of the guys that are fasting people for way too long. You don't water fast anymore in today's world until you detox a little bit. You don't water fast right off. That's insane thinking. And this person obviously has no experience with working with very advanced peoples. Sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but I mean, when you're making statements that herbs are bad, something's wrong up here. You have no experience. You're talking out of narcissism. What is it? I don't know. So you've had a couple of surgeries, sweetheart, to cut out? Oh my God. Well, that's just what I'm saying. This group is insane. I also have very bad knees and joints. Oh, sweetheart. You know what? My knees have popped out, dislocated about 6 times totally. Okay, I hope your parents are watching this because let me say this. Right off, you want to fix your kidneys? Make sure your kidneys are filtering. You know how you check that. You got to pee in a jar and look at it, sweetheart. You want to see sediment in it. So you want to get your adrenal glands going. You want to make sure your blood pressure is adequate. At 16, you should be close to 120/60. You should be into the more appropriate blood pressures. All right? And you also get a picture of your eyes. You're 16. Now you'll have something to go on. You can see your genetic line and things like this. But I'll say this is the lymph system, pure and simple. This is not a blood problem, this is a lymphatic problem. And this is going back to kidneys and adrenals. And I can tell you, your mom's lymph system is a mess. This is where you get it. You don't get your lymph system through your dad's sperm. So you got this through your mother. And your mother's probably has some kidney and adrenal issues. And I'll say this, you got a parathyroid problem and you want to fix this. So you want to take a parathyroid glandular, and I would take either a Bones formula or a superfood complex that's high in calcium while you're doing this, because this is just the sign of parathyroid. You want to, if you're only 16, you want to nip this in the bud now. Now the question, is it a parathyroid or is it a pituitary sitting down on the parathyroid? That's what you want to look at. Because, and you'd only have the eyes to tell. At 16, you want to look at your periods. Did you start earlier? Are your periods in cycles properly? Where are you at? Are you tall? Are you short? Are you, within the appropriate height of, say, 5'6" to 5'10" or something? Oh, my God, poor thing. I feel that it has hurt my growth. Well, you know what, sweetheart? I'm guessing you're then, with that statement, you're talking about pituitary here. I would have to see that before I would recommend anything like that, if you give me a picture of your eyes, but I'll say this. If your growth is stunted, and that's all parts, then you want to go after your pituitary gland. I'd probably use a pituitary herbal formula at first, since you're not a client or anything. And also, I would go after my kidneys and adrenals and my lymphatic system. At the same time, I'm going to take a superfood blend. Our superfood blend is extremely high in calcium. Most superfood blends probably would be, but you don't want a lot of crap. Pure superfood blends, no other enzymes, probiotics. You want pure stuff. And take again a pair 16, and you're popping like that. I do parathyroid 1-3 times a day, and I would do the superfood blend or a Bones formula with it and start strengthening my connective tissue and joints and all that. Big time. Pituitary be a concern for me because that would stunt your growth in all ways. It could affect your female organs. It could affect everything. So we really need to take a look at that and fix this up while you're young. And you'll get that all fixed up, but you have to fix this to fix the skin. There's the only way you can fix the skin is fix your lymph system. And to fix your lymph system, you have to go after the kidneys and adrenals. And so that, of course, we're going to lead up into here, and of course, here's pituitary, here's parathyroid and thyroid, and all those would be instrumental in helping you, my dear one. But you've got to fix this, because this is exactly, you don't want to go further with this parathyroid thing. But the skin thing, absolutely. Absolutely. So, but we could take your skin off. I mean, this is the kind of mentality this planet has, guys. And we gotta recognize that and lift ourselves above that, and teach others to have a higher way of looking at things. You know, I sometimes feel bad that I blow back negative, like on this guy that's saying that, because it's a natural response when someone says that. It's just unawareness of this man. When you have full bore awareness, you're more of a God person. You're definitely looking up on the herbs, because those things are beauties. Those things are so beautiful and so helpful that even cooked herbs can help you. We have stories that are miles long with the use of herbs. My sister had an herb shop, and this little man came in at about 7 years old. He'd been stopped up in the sinuses all his life. He couldn't breathe. One dosage of lymphatic 1, and he told his mommy that night, "Mommy, I can breathe." One dosage of lymphatic 1. I have miles of testimonies like that. So when people get there and start knucking up on the herbs, it's like, interesting to me. Interesting. It just reflects man's state of consciousness here and why we're here and need to uplift that. But I'm sure this gentleman would recommend Diatomaceous Earth. Sorry, I didn't need to do that. I feel that it's hurt my growth. I have had 2 knee surgeries. Oh, honey. Yeah, get that parathyroid, because you'll have surgery after surgery. And the problem here is at 16, you're going under the knife. You're going under propofol. You can start having serious neurological problems from the toxins of propofol. This is a time to fix and repair and rebuild. At your age, you want to think about regeneration, not surgeries, not medical. They just cut, dice. Like if you have eczema real bad, just cut the tissue out. Oh my God. Also, two more in 2014. I'm on 100% fruits. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, I would also add some green drinks in there. I know you need it to get the skin clean. But if you do this, you can do all the fruits, add the superfood blend too, add the parathyroid, and still stay with all fruits. You'll be doing good. You'll be doing good. And get that parathyroid up, because you have to have this up. And I'm really looking on your case thinking pituitary here big time. That would also suppress your thyroid gland as well. Cold hands, cold feet, do you get cold? That sort of thing. Check your basal temperatures under your arms. You guys are learning how to take care of your human bodies, and I love you for it. Good job here. I am really in the dark through about my knees. No, don't be. That's a lymphatic problem. You know, what breaks down tissue? What sucks calcium out of the body? Acids. Acids. We're back to that side of chemistry again. But there's only 2 sides, so we'll be visiting quite frequently, won't we? I have no idea what the cause could be or what a healing crisis may be for that area or problem. You know what? 16 years old, I love that question you had. That's an excellent question. Yeah, you could have a healing crisis in the knees, be misinterpreted, and have a medical doctor do something you wouldn't want him to do. You could have that. So yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. I would say this. I would say from here on, work on regeneration. Understand your glands. Understand the parathyroid gland. Big deal here, especially with popping joints. And we also have growing pains in a lot of people. Same thing, parathyroid is weak. Now you've been going under the knife, that's concernful, because low calcium and propofol can make for some serious neurological weaknesses. And that can shut down tissues. Remember I told you about the lady that had 4 surgeries on her knee? After the 4th surgery, she went into type 1 and she lost her periods. Neurological type 1. These were neurological issues. Shut down the pituitary. It didn't take us long. We had her back and running in a month or so, but still, you saw the suppression and the neurotoxicity of the problem. When are you moving your operation to Costa Rica or Colombia? Love, blessings, Dr. Walter. Dr. Walter? I don't know, but sooner the better to Costa Rica, huh? I was talking to a friend of mine who's ex-FEMA. Some of you know him. He was a practitioner here for a while, Roger. And we were laughing yesterday, 92 fusion centers now. World Bank's getting real aggressive with that. Wants to make a move and take over real quick, do we? They forget one. Oh, let's see what this. Herpes and transiting. Well, this is Paul. Hey, Paul. Paul Smith. Just want to say I'm a huge fan of your practices. I have a question regarding herpes and any other things relating to it. Okay, this is good. My history. I was raised on an SAD, SAD, and started my detox journey as soon as I found out that I had HSV2. Okay? Well, I think most of us do, don't we, at some level or another? I started my detox journey on November 5th, 2014. Know the date exactly, huh? Pretty good. Which consists of all greens and thus starting my detox journey. I then stumbled on your videos and found that your teachings were incredible. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I get a little quirky sometimes, you know, because, God, so much problems here. So many hurting souls, you know. It's kind of sad. And especially for those that are compassionate people, you know. We don't like to see people suffer, you know. Death is nothing. We can translate from one thing to another. That's no big deal. But suffering, that's stretching it. But it's all karma-driven, you know. It's all cause and effect driven, and it's just bringing up the awareness so you can start realizing what you're creating and how to reverse it. Man just hasn't realized this has been a level of creation very unconscious, and so man hasn't realized. They talk about big deal, everything. You know, that animal eats meat. Why can't I eat it? You know, he hasn't become awake to his divinity and his beauty. Not that everything else isn't divine too, because it is. Let me see. I then stumbled on your videos and found, okay, thank you so much. I was hooked. Thanks, man. After 2 months on detox, I decided to transition to high fruits. I started mono fruit fast on oranges. Holy crap! This lasted about plus 30 days, then started incorporating other fruits just to balance. I'm going to start another orange feast as of today. Now to my question. I love orange fasting, especially if you can get the sweet, sweet navels. Oh, they're toe curlers. They make your toes curl. They're so good. I had fresh navel orange juice this morning when I shot the first video this morning. I was doing fresh squeezed orange juice. Oh my God. Then I went and had a salad for lunch, and it's like, that was okay. But the fresh squeezed orange juice was bliss. Salads are okay. Fresh squeezed navel orange juice, bliss. I have been getting different answers and a lot of misinformation to my question. It's really hard to understand it. I was hoping you can clarify it for me. And this is some of the problems out there. There's so much information. One says herbs are bad, herbs are good. This is bad, this is good. When are we ever going to get our act together down here and people get on the same page? You see why it's important that we all work together? If we want to make a change, we got this young man down there in the tropics that's fasting. He's got to grow up. He's got to learn that herbs are here for man and that they are good. There's toxic herbs, but all our blood work, all the things we do have never shown anything but great. I mean, you have healing crises and you have ups and downs during detox, of course, but let me see what it is here. Some people are saying that it is impossible to detox the virals out of your body. And basically the only way to deal with herpes is to create a great immune system. Let me say this. What is your immune system? When someone says this, and I love people that say, you've got to enhance and rebuild your immune system. Would you explain to me what system is your immune system? Would you explain that to me? You've got immunity or you've got immune cells in the blood. Where else do you have it? Lymph nodes, macrophages. You have immunity all through, but what's the system that has to bear the brunt of removing wastes and proteins and parasites and everything like that out of the body? What system? Not the blood, the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system has a way out. Blood doesn't have an exit except through the spleen and maybe a little through the kidneys. Your lymph system is your kidneys. So you understand that that is the system that you're going to dump into. Everybody doesn't want something. You throw it down the sink, you throw it in the toilet, right? That's just what your body does. It's that simple. So if you see high metals in the blood, can you imagine what you have in the lymph system? And you can show no metals in the blood, detox, and start to see a little metal hit the blood because mostly is stored in the lymph. You can't think about this. You can't store metals in the blood. What would happen to you? You're going to realize the fluctuation of pHs in the blood can do some really bad things to you, including death. So you have to understand and look at this from a different perspective. How do you deal in life with waste? How does God deal with waste in nature? You've got eliminative organs, and we have one above omnivores. We can sweat. Okay. So I can tell you right off that they're full of crap. We always have HIV here, Hep C here, and we're always successful in eliminating these viral loads out of them. So for someone to say, how else would you get these proteins out of the body? Your immune system, all right? Now, how does your immune system deal with virals? And does people even know what virals are? See, I think a lot of people give a lot of opinions about stuff they don't know. We've detoxed herpes out of people for years. And the other type, too. Great immune system. Stay on fruit and it will never show up. Well, this is true. If you keep your body alkaline, they will stay dormant. This is true. Because these are proteins. And the body is restricting this because you're restricting them with electrolytes and things. But make your body acidic and the knock comes on your door. Detox them out and it won't matter. And that's what you want to do is detox until you can get yourself a little acidic and you don't have the blowback from virals. But how else would you get rid of them? That's how nature gets rid of them. If you happen to eat something acid, it will show up again. Well, that's what they are. They're proteolytics. The virals are acids. They're proteins. They're not the single-celled organisms that have a consciousness, although everything has a consciousness, so don't let me get you off track there. Basically, what I got out of this statement from other individuals is the only way you are cured is if you stay on fruits and veggies for the rest of your life. Yeah. Can you explain then why raw foodists come to me on fruits and veggies still have cancer in them? Other people are saying that you can detox these virals out of your body and you will never have to deal with it anymore after it's completely detoxed out. I'm on their side. Even going on a SAD won't bring it up once it's out of the body. Absolutely. And that's what you want. That's the whole point. It's even like type 1s. Go out and get you a big piece of cake. I want to know how your body relates on the job. When I feel that I have the beta cell, this is type 1s, but in type 2, that's the adrenals. When you fix these tissues, go out and have you a piece of cake. Let's see how your body deals with this sucrose. You know, I mean, this is, test them on the job. See how their body has functioned. I always tell them to go out and eat bad and see how their body responds to that. I want total cure. I'm not sure what to believe and was hoping you could clarify this. Detox them out, my friend. Some people live in this, the world of nothing ever gets better type of stuff. You can only do this and I'm going to do that. I think it's unlimited. God is an unlimited being. I ask this because I don't want to have any worry about just creating a great immune system. Well, how do you create a great immune system? Think about that. You take mushrooms to create a great immune system. These mushrooms enhance bone marrow to create B cells, and then they travel to the thymus. How's the thymus gland with T cells? What if you have low T cells? What do you do about that? How do you enhance your thymus gland? How do you enhance your immune system? And what breaks your immune system down? See where I'm going? This is all the same stuff. Acids always breaks you down. There's only two sides of chemistry to no matter what question you pose. You only have two fluid-based systems that take care of the cells no matter what question you pose. And then everybody's the cells and their memory patterns. Simple stuff. And your body loves to get rid of that. That doesn't need to be in the body. The problem is what system that you deal with. You get herpes simplex in the mouth. That's in your lymph system. All you have to do is start eating acids, and guess what? Comes out. We had this talk on another video, remember? So feel comfortable, my friend. Just detoxify them out. You know, the naysayers are the naysayers, and these are people that lock themselves in worlds of remoteness. We're going right on and going to cure up the world and help people, and whoever's willing, and we're going to have fun doing it. And the naysayers can stay naysayers. We don't care, do we? But no, detox everything out of the body. As a matter of fact, that's how you enhance your nerve. You know, like in other words, I get people in here with low lymphocytes, neutrophils, basophils, stuff like that. How do I fix them? How do I fix blood work when I see all these immune cells low? I detoxify them. And guess what happens? The immune cells get perfect again. Look at that. Look at that. And I'm going after the lymph system, aren't I? If I'm going after bone marrow suppression, what side of chemistry is doing it and what system? Not blood. So you're back to the lymph system again. And I'm going after that. If I'm going to enhance immunity, if I'm going to enhance the immune system, which is the lymphatic system primarily, you've got immunity in the blood. But most of your immunity is toward the lymph system. That's your sewer system. That's your bye-bye system. But after a while, virals can make themselves quite at home. They're just proteins. And they're stuck. They're stuck in the lymph system. And the only way to get them out is, that's right. Because I could go on and on about this, especially genital herpes and why some contract and some don't. The cleanliness down there in the genital areas and not. You can go back to the lymph system in these areas again, guys. Is this all possible to completely detox this out of my system without worrying about another outbreak? I can't say that. I can't say they won't get an outbreak because even detox, you could have a healing crisis as an outbreak. Absolutely. I've seen that too. I've seen the worst before getting better syndromes, but that's common in detoxification to have healing crises like that. But you just work through it and keep on going down the road, and pretty soon you're free. That's the only way you can do that. The only way you can do that. And thank you so much for the question. I know that's a very good question. But you have so many people, and this is why it's essential that we become one strong voice, because you have so many people with misinformation that everybody's getting confused. And that fits perfectly in medical doctors, because if you're confused with God and nature, you're going to run to the boys that use the chemicals. And that's where you get into big trouble. You know, that's an alternative practice that is designed for those that have no other recourse. And the problem is that if we can't get you, I'll say this to all of you, if we cannot get you and your health problems, you're going to need the AMA, and probably not going to do any good. Because if we can't get you, nobody else can. I have to tell you, there'll be only a few, a rare few. Someone out there might have something. But to tell you the truth, you can cure everything and anything you have, rebuild, clean, enhance, all the positive stuff. Yeah, don't buy into the naysayers, because you want to become experienced and speak from experience. You know, naysayers typically have no experience. That's why I went to people like Dr. Jensen. I admired someone who saw 300,000 people, who wrote 57 books. I admire people like that. Myself, I've only been in the field 6 years shy of 50. But I've been through a lot of people, and that's where my experience comes. The people, you guys, that's where the experience comes from. But as a practitioner, you're always looking for a few tools to help. And there's no better tools than the herbs. I suppose Panax ginseng would be toxic, right? Then how do you explain 256-year-old male? Drew. Hey, Drew. He's funny. So how do you explain these people that have been on herbs and their longevity is way out the roof? I guess it wasn't toxic enough, huh? I mean, this is the sort of thing that people just don't have subject to. These are people that make these accusations and have no basis for it. Typical medical doctor thinking, though, they always make accusations about herbs, and it's only something they heard. They looked up on their MD web, and of course that's all negative and holistic. And it's just ridiculous. I have an herbal PDR now. They have PDRs for herbs now. And I look at that and I'm going, disgusting. Disgusting. We've gotten so bad that we have to have laboratory proof and everything like that. And I look at that and say, that's a side of life that's killing millions of people every year. And yet you have the audacity to come out and say stuff like that? We're the ones proving that the herbs are great for you. We're the ones proving that life can regenerate itself. That's what people need to look at. And it's thanks to you that people are getting well. You need to be thanked a lot. You guys have helped so many people and helping yourselves. And you young ones, you work on being healers. Like you 7-year-olds. So smart. And remember, eating fruits will only make you smarter than your other friends at school, so you have to tell them to eat fruits too so they can be as smart as you. So you have a good day, everybody. I love each and every one of you. Got a little quirky, but negative stuff's out there always, and you always have that. Don't fall into the naysayers. Know what is truth. Ride the ride. Try them yourself. No one's going to die from anything. Enjoy yourselves. But for those of you that are suffering, you get with this and get going. If you need our help, you call in here and let us help you. Especially when you're 16 years old, they're cutting already patches of skin off of you because they don't know how to fix it. And then your knees are popping and everything. This is no use. Stop things like this. And you can rebuild your body and stop this, sweetheart. So all of you, thank you again. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm getting your questions, but I have a lot more free time, so I'll be able to help you more. So I'm thankful for that, because I probably should have got to these quicker, but just didn't have the time. I love you guys. You have a great either afternoon or morning or day. Bye-bye now.